What's going on, everybody? As you guys heard from our intro, we're meeting with my college teammate from Kent State, Jake Casey. Jake, welcome to the pod. How's it going, brother?
Thanks for having me, guys. It's going good, man. It's good to be here.
Dude, absolutely. So, we're talking to Connor about, what we want to do for our first guest speaker, and you were the first guy that came to our mind. Monster, monster, monster year for you. I'm looking at your stats here: 356 batting average, 17 home runs, 74 hits, a slugging of a 736, dude. Like, that's those are video game numbers, man. Those are video game numbers. And,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
you know,
Thanks, bro.
yeah. And you know, when obviously I've only known you for a year and, we got super, super, super close, but, you know, there was always something different about you. And just like the way that you went about your business around the clubhouse, the way you led the guys, all that stuff. Can you kind of just talk about, your mindset as a leader and, what you were trying to accomplish going into that senior year?
Yeah, I mean, so like going into that senior year, obviously I just met you that year, but I had 3 years before that, and I my role as a leader wasn't like that great, but I had some role because I was always one of the better guys. But going into the senior year, obviously I got hurt before that. I had TJ, and you know, I was going into the year just thinking like, listen, like, this is my last season. I have a chance to be healthy this year. Like, thank God. I just want to go into the year and I just want to win. Whatever it takes to win. Let me do on there. I know I'm gonna be an older guy. I know I have a chance to lead. So let me just go in there and like do whatever it takes to win. And obviously I missed the fall. And just I just was trying my best to like be nice to the freshmen, get them acclimated in there as fast as they could. Just bring everyone together. And like obviously I had the numbers that I had, but like my goal was not to hit 350 and hit 17 homers and, to have all those big hits and all that stuff. It was just to win. And, every day, I tell whoever asked me, like every day of the season, it was just like I asked myself, what can I do today to help my team win? Like, do I have to hit a homer? Do I have to hit a double? Do I have to, you know, say something to the guys? Do I have to, whatever I got to do? And obviously, it's just if you just I just stacked on those days. I think
Mhm.
like day by day throughout the season, and then ended up having a good year. And like we ended up having a pretty fun season. We ended up winning a lot, but
Heck
I think
yeah.
that's the biggest thing was just like not worrying about stat. It was just trying to win, whatever
Yeah.
it took.
Yeah. No, those rings are gonna look really cool on our fingers here in a couple months.
Yeah. Yep.
For sure.
I'll enjoy watching it. I'll enjoy seeing it all
Yeah, yeah,
right here.
yeah, no, for sure, for sure. So, obviously, you talked about that injury that you had. Why don't you run our viewers kind of just through, your whole process? Because, obviously, when you were going through the recruiting process, it was super different, than what it is.
Yeah.
So kind of just talk about, how you ended up at Kent State, how you created that relationship with Coach Duncan. Our viewers do know about, Coach Duncan. I've mentioned his name countless times. I have the
Yeah.
utmost respect for that guy. So kind of just talk about how, that situation, came into fruition for you.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd say probably around like sophomore year of high school, I started to realize like, okay, I got a legit shot to play Division I baseball. Um, so I ended up like stop playing basketball. I started taking it real serious, hitting every day in the winter, just like trying to get bigger, stronger, faster. Um, just do whatever it took. And then, junior year comes around, COVID hits. That sucked, obviously, but we were able to play summer ball, and I ended up having a really good summer. And I was sending video out to coaches as much as I could, trying to get myself out there. My coach, his name's Coach Segi, Mark Segi. He helped me out a ton. He knows a lot of college coaches. He was sending me out like, trying to advertise me as much as he could because it was COVID. And then obviously, I had a really good summer. And then, Kent reached out and they started talking to me a lot. Like I started talking to Dunk a lot. Berkey Serrato's not there anymore, but he started talking to him. And then, obviously looked into Kent and, there's other schools, but I think I realized I wanted to go to Kent because it was close to home, all that stuff. And then, yeah, I ended up going to Kent. I ended up realizing, like, Kent's a winning program. They're a legit program. They made it to the College World Series in 2012. Like, that's somewhere you want to go. You want to go somewhere that wins because, I mean, you played at places that haven't won, Billy, and you've played at places that have won, and
Big
you know the
difference, bro.
difference. Big difference.
Big
You know what I'm
difference.
saying?
Massive difference.
100%. So yeah, so I end up going to Kent. Um, and then freshman year comes around, and obviously it's a like I mean for the viewers that are maybe going into Division One baseball, it's definitely a big difference. You're going from the big fish in a small pond to the pond just gets way bigger, and everyone was really good in high school. And you realize like wow, like I got a lot to go. I have a lot to go to even get to playing, let alone even drafted was not even in my mindset the freshman year. It's just like how can I play? You know?
Right.
And
Mhm.
then, yeah, so I actually ended up missing the fall my freshman year. I broke my wrist. So I was like, great. Like, I'm already just a couple steps behind. Like, I'm already, I'm not even close to where I want to be then. So you know, I ended up having a decent, like, spring, scrimmages. We started scrimmaging and stuff like that. So I ended up getting myself some at bats that year. I had three pinch hit homers somehow. Had like a couple, I started like 19 games, kind of was just a DH for a little bit. And then, I obviously developed that summer, played some outfield. And then sophomore year, I became an everyday player. Ended up having a really good year. So I'll just fast track to like that. I'll just fast track to now. Like sophomore year, I had a pretty decent year, up and down, 12 homers, like 250. Ended up going to the Cape. I had an okay Cape. I learned a lot there, met a lot of really cool guys. Um, just overall experience, like I think to this point, I'm like, okay, I've seen these guys in the Cape. I've seen what it takes to be, a draft guy. I played against like Bazana. I played with 16 guys out of the Aura on my team got drafted. So I was like, all right, I know what it takes. Like I know I'm not that far away from these guys. It's just a matter of how consistent can I be. So that was kind of the question I asked myself. So like, I knew what it took. I knew that I was right there, like talent wise. I was hitting balls just as far, just as hard. You know, Defense was on par, all that stuff. So I get to my junior year. This is the year I'm talking to damn near every team in the league, all the scouts. I'm like, wow, like I'm gonna be a, top 10 rounder. If all I need to do is put together a good year. Boom, like, I'm ready to go. I was just obsessed. Like my mind was just like, you could ask my girlfriend. I was just crazy, just all I was thinking about, just the draft. I get drafted, and then fall comes around. I'm hitting every day. I rake in the fall. I'm batting like they can't get me out. Like inner squads, I'm hitting barrels. I think I hit like 8 homers and 50. But just whatever, stupid. Like I was like just confidence was at an all-time high, and I was doing really well. Like I was just confident in myself, confident in my ability. I'm like I'm gonna get drafted. Nothing's stopping me. You know what I mean? So I get to the winter. I think I just stay with it, stay hitting, and kind of got a little off track looking back now. Like just hit way too much. Sometimes you hit way too much and like you start overthinking it. I'm like, whatever. So I get to my spring and I'm like, this is it. Like this is the time to shine. I'm gonna go out there and just do what I did in the fall and just be me. And so I'm sure the viewers can assume how this is gonna go. And it did not go that good.
Yeah.
I kind of struggled. I was chasing a lot of results that year. I was trying so hard to be this guy that, I thought I could be. And, I was just really leaning on like results and it would dictate how I felt. It would dictate how I go out at bats. And I end up having like, I mean, if you're looking like an average call, I had a decent season through like half the year. I think I had like 10 homers, 9 homers, and I was like 260, 270. I don't even remember, but it wasn't good enough to get drafted, put it that way. And I was just pissed. I was like, you know what? Like, whatever. Um, and then to put the cherry on top of that whole story, 30 games into the year, we're taking infield outfield before a game. I ended up blowing my elbow out. Got Tommy John, and I was like, this is just great. Like, just ruined it. I left some money on the table. I'm just thinking all these crazy things about like I could get drafted, this and that. I'm like, you know what? Like, that was tough. Like that was tough. Just a whole roller coaster of emotions, that whole year, especially when I got injured. And then like, obviously as time went by, I was like, you know, I kind of accepted like that, maybe I won't get drafted. Like maybe I'm just gonna go out. I'm gonna recover from this injury, Tommy John, and get stronger, get better, and kind of just forget about baseball and just have a summer to just rehab. I worked at a sports camp. I was a supervisor at like a sports camp in Mount Lebanon, just
Nice.
playing with kids and helping kids play soccer and whatever sport they want to play, just whatever, just enjoying my time at home, just like
Yeah.
working and being like just not thinking about baseball for 1 second, just like working nine to 12 every day, 9 to 1, whatever it was, going to rehab, playing golf, whatever I was doing, just forget about baseball. And I was like, when the fall comes, the fall is gonna come, and I'm not worried about it till then. So, fall got there. I was not back yet. Um, Billy, you remember that? I was not back yet. I was just chilling, rehabbing in the
Yeah,
fall.
your boy showed up on campus.
Yeah, then I met my boy Bill.
Yeah.
Bill come. We're working like some prospect camp, and Bill comes in like wearing sunglasses. I'm like,
Yeah,
who's this
Billy.
guy? Who's this guy? Bill comes in. What's up, boys? All this energy. I'm like, I like this guy.
Yeah.
Oh
Good
That's
man.
on
when I met Bill, and then
Oh
I was
man.
like, Bill, you wanna hang out tonight? Or we're like, we want to go out, whatever. And we're like, and then boom.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
It was
man.
pretty easy. You know how it works with
Yeah, man.
guys.
The viewers don't need to know how that night ended, but
Uh,
no, that's
We had
when
a,
the relationship started.
that's
Uh,
when it started. Yeah, that's funny, Bill. That's funny. But but going to the fall, I was just like, I'm just gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy it. Last fall with the guys, my senior year. I don't have to stress about at bats. I'm just worried about rehabbing. So it's like, all right, whatever. I get healthy. Bill ends up hurting his knee, so we had to hang out a lot more. Actually, it was
yeah,
great. So we're
yeah.
we're we're in the, we're hanging out in
yeah,
the training room every day or whatever, hanging out.
yeah.
That
Jeez,
was fun.
both getting massages on
Yeah,
easy arm.
just grinding our asses off in the training room. It was
Yeah, but
brutal, but it was
I
fun.
will say
But it
this
was
though.
fun.
I feel like that's where, we really got we got close because I feel
Yeah.
like, especially being a grad guy that was only there for a year, like I mean, and you kind of know like the situation that it ended up being for me. And it's one
Mm.
of those things where it's like I would never trade those moments being in the training room with you because
Yeah.
that's why you and I are like friends on more of a personal level, not
Yeah.
necessarily,
Right.
oh, he was my teammate. You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
I remember those days, dude, and it's just like it's crazy that it was, already almost a year ago. You know,
Yeah, bro.
it's just wild.
Yeah,
Just
that was fun, dude. We were just chilling. We literally were just big
playing,
chilling.
playing
Practice
Black Ops 6, not even Black Ops
Dude,
7, Black Ops 6, dude. Don't
playing
even
Black Ops 6, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 6,
didn't
bro.
care about baseball whatsoever.
Nah, we were actually just chilling. That's the part. That's the full part of the story. Is like my mindset, even Billy's mindset. In that moment, we are just like, you know, let's
Yeah,
just have fun. Let's just enjoy it. Let's just hang out. And then when we get healthy, we can start running with baseball. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's kind of what it was.
that's what it was.
wow.
So fast forward to I start swinging in like October. I start getting healthy, whatever. Um, I'm like, all right, now it's time to start ramping up baseball again. Now I can focus on baseball and these next 7, 8 months where it's the off season going into the season. Let's just, you know, if whatever it's always one of those things like if you're gonna do something, give it your all. Like if you're gonna do something and you got a commitment to be had, and I committed to playing baseball for Kent State, I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna do the best that I possibly can. So that was my mindset. I was like, now that baseball's back and I'm back healthy, I'm gonna give it my all and do whatever it takes to win. That was my mind. I was like, I want to win. So like that was like, I'm like, I might not get drafted this year. Probably not. I was like, I'm a senior at Kent State. I'm just gonna go out there and get healthy and help my team win. I want to win a championship. So I get healthy. I train the winter. I get back to swinging. Throwing. I'm still in my throwing program. Whatever. Season comes around. Got a lot of bats in. Whatever. I'm ready to go. I'm like, all right. I remember talking. I talked Billy this. I talked about this with Billy a lot. I was just like I have no expectations this year. Like I just want to do the best that I possibly can. I know it's all about winning, but I'm saying like this is what it was. It was like I just want to help a team win. And you know, we had this thing with Breakthrough called Breakthrough Pro. My dad talked to us about it. It was a lot about the process, like a lot the mental side, about like the process of the game, the process of, off the field stuff, taking care of yourself off the field, like taking care of your business, like getting good sleep, just all that stuff. Like just I was like, all right, I'm gonna dominate that stuff, that part of the game, like the mental part of the game is like I'm not gonna worry about results because I don't care about. I already told myself I don't care about results. I'm not gonna worry about results. I'm gonna worry about the process at hand. I'm gonna take care of myself. I'm gonna eat clean. I'm gonna get good sleep. I'm gonna show up at the field every day, the best version of myself for these guys, and as a leader, as the leader that I want to be. You know what I mean? So then that was my mindset going into the season, and I had an okay start, and then honestly, going to that second week, I think it was the second week, right? Mercer.
Yep.
I kind of did something with my swing a little bit, just got a little more athletic, whatever it was, something small, and I kind of just like,
Stop swinging through breaking balls, and you got on top of a baseball one
yeah,
time.
I
Backspinning baseballs to the
started
fence.
unlocking something,
That's what
bro.
you started doing.
Yeah, I unlocked something. I was like, holy shit. And then, I was like, okay, now this is legit. Like, this is like, I can bring out my ability now. That's what I felt. And then I just started stacking at bats, stacking days. And we were winning game. I mean, at the first, we weren't really winning games, but like, we were kind of in it. Our offense was doing well. We just weren't putting it together. But I was stacking. And, we ended up like kind of having a meeting with the guys in the middle of the year, and we started to win. After that, like halfway through the year, we started to really win because Billy and I kind of came up with it. We're like, we gotta talk to the guys. We gotta get on track to start winning. Like
Yeah.
this is our last year. We gotta talk to young guys and be like, listen, guys, like I know you guys got 2, 3 years left, but like do it for us. This is our last year. Like we want to win. You know, but yeah, I was stacking and stacking ABs. Stacking at bats, started playing well, started hitting homers. Shit was starting to happen. I was like, wow, like good shit. You know what I mean?
And
Whatever.
it was not homers, it was bombs. It was
Yeah, whatever. It's just like, but moral of the story was like I just, to round it all up with the whole injury, it was a big thing of like releasing the result of like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta play this, play that well. More just like how can I help my team win? What do I got to do every day to be the best version of myself for all these guys in the locker room? As a senior leader, I am. As a leader, I want to be. And, I had a great year, but I don't give credit to my great year as all the physical work that I did. I didn't hit all the time. I'm not saying you shouldn't hit all the time, but I made it so much more mental than it was physical, and I gave all the credit to that
Yeah.
over that time.
Yeah. So in hindsight, would you say that you wouldn't be the player that you are today without your injury?
No, not even close.
That's
I
deep.
just, yeah, I think that was I think everything happens for a reason. And, whether we believe in God or not, I really do. I think that God put that in my life, he put an injury in my life, and he gave that to me for a reason. I think this is the reason he gave it to me, just to kind of like realize that it's not that serious to go out there and just have fun and just, be with the guys and do the best you can.
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
huge. I
that's
mean, like,
awesome.
my question would be, so I had TJ myself.
Okay.
What was your mindset, once that happened? Like, what was because I know for me, it was obviously demoralizing because you're
Yeah.
in the mountains, the next thing you know, it's like a huge halt.
Yeah.
So it's like my mindset was always like, all right, well, this is just a bump in the road. It's not a mountain.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to get over it. Like I know there's a lot of guys, especially with how the pitch clock is and whatnot, where you see a lot of TJs happening. Like, what was your mindset? I know you talked about it a little bit, but like, how'd you wake up every day, with the positive self-talk per se to get you over that hump?
Yeah, good question. I mean, at first, like, I hate to admit it, but I was in such a weird spot mentally, like, just stress. This is my junior year, stress, chasing, like, I gotta do good. I'm playing so bad, everyone thinks this and that. I was in such a bad spot mentally that honestly, like, when I got hurt, I was like, okay, like, obviously this sucks. It hurts, but like, I was like, you know what? Like, as much as I hate to say it, this is kind of a breath of fresh air for me. Like, I don't have to stress about, I know my season's over, so I can just take a step back. I can just take a deep breath. And at first I wasn't really thinking about the whole journey ahead. Um, but like I was able to just take a step back and be like, you know what? Like baseball is done for at least 8 months. So I was like, that's kind of like a good thing for me, at least for my mental health, for my mindset at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
But and then once I got the surgery, I got out of you were in that brace, it kind of sucked. So those 6 weeks were kind of brutal. Like I would didn't really do much.
Can't,
But once I got a plan of attack, it was more just like the focus for me waking up every day was like just about stacking on days and just obviously that this is going to be a long journey and it's about the small wins every day. And I think for me, like having that mindset of like, if I can lift X amount of weight today and make that X amount of weight next week and increase, and I can do a little bit more here next week and I can keep increasing and keep going, and like that's what I wanted to do. And I wanted to stay in shape. I wanted to, keep eating clean, all that stuff. And I think that was the biggest thing for me was just stacking on days.
no, that's huge. That's a that's a massive piece of the puzzle that I think
Yeah.
our viewers should understand that it's not obviously you want ultimate success, but it starts a one day at a time, and you're the spinning image of that,
Yeah,
and where you are
for
now,
sure.
so that's good.
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean
I love it.
that's unbelievable, dude. But yeah, I mean just the way, and I mean we've talked about all this, dude, but like, the way that you overcame that injury and the way that you kind of just flipped a switch and was like, yo, like, I think that whole piece, and we try to tell like, the guys that we do lessons with, the guys at Albertus and all that, like, if you can just break down and just throw everything away of like your personal success and do whatever you can to help out the team and
Mhm.
do whatever you can to win, you're going to be successful. Like you as an
Yeah.
individual are going to be successful.
100%.
I think that's why our culture was so good at Kent. And
Hmm.
you know, and like that year just in general was just something that, I try to push now that I'm making my transitioning to coaching and all that. And it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Dude,
So yeah,
I mean, I have a real money question.
go for it, dude.
I got the coach's guy, but
Hmm.
what was it like? Was it really a no-fly zone out there with Billy Gurlot in the outfield?
Nah, Billy was actually he was nice out there.
Yeah,
No joke.
I watch him roam.
Put him out there right, center, left. It's no fly zone.
Dude, yeah, man.
What a
Dead
guy.
serious. No bias.
It's yeah, man.
No bias.
Dude, the outfield was my jam. The outfield was my jam. And also too, like, and here, yeah, and this would be a question for you actually. So the viewers know that I made the transition from an infielder to an outfielder, at the collegiate level. What was
Yeah.
it like for you? Because you played a little bit of first base, and if I remember, you also played a little bit of third base, didn't you? You were
Yeah.
all over the place. So what was that, what was that transition for you like going to the outfield? Because I know you and I talked a shit ton about
Yeah.
outfield play and all that stuff, and how you talked about how it's actually different at the big league level than what it is played at the collegiate level. So kind
Yeah.
of let's talk about that a little bit.
Honestly, dude, like I played short in high school. I think you just put your best out there at short, like when you're younger, and it's like just ride it. But I honestly hated infield. Like I was like, I hate infield. Like I hate the having to worry about the hops, having to make the throw. I was like, this is too much stress. I just want to hit. And I get to college and they're like, all right, because they didn't really know I was an outfielder. They didn't know I could play outfield. And they're like, all right, this guy obviously can't play short. He can't play second. He's not a middle infielder. Like he's not that good, honestly. Like I was not a college infielder.
Mm.
Put me at first, I was okay, I was fine. And then I played third. Like you talk about the one time I played third because they needed me in the lineup, and they're like, just go to third. And I remember my assistant coach wasn't there the one day, and I was in the lineup at third, and he sent me a picture of Nolan Arenado like in his ready stance, and he was like, "This has got to be you today." And I was like, "Dude, I haven't played third base since like high school, and you expect me to play third base at in a big like conference game in the middle, like toward the end of the year?" I'm like, "Okay, whatever." But transitioning from the out to the outfield for me was like the breath of fresh air because I was like, I can actually like be an athlete, just go catch the ball, make a throw, and worry more about hitting. And obviously, outfield defense is there's a lot more that goes into it than people think than just catching a ball. There's a lot more, but like I think it was for me, it was a breath of fresh air, and like it was nice to be able to like I feel like my athleticism fully shows in the outfield versus like the infield.
Sure. No, our boy Dunk got us right out there.
Don't got us right, bro. He's the man. Actually, he's the man.
Yeah.
Dude, that reminds me. What Mr. Alejandro Kovas in the
What
house.
about?
So I had the pleasure of meeting him this summer.
Yeah.
Um, dude, you had some characters out there, like
Oh yeah.
intense. I mean, did you have more fun playing the outfield with those two? I mean,
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, our outfield group this last year or last year at Kent was fun. I mean, it was,
Unbelievable.
Micah,
It was
Micah, probably the greatest center fielder I've ever seen.
Mike is actually, Mike is going to be very, very, very good. He already is very, very good, but
Yeah.
to kind of just step into the college scene. This is the kid that I was trying to
yeah,
get in
yeah,
Danbury at 18,
Yeah.
hitting 290 and flying around making diving catches, dude. He's going to be really, really, really good.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to put anything out there, but like if he just keeps doing what he's doing, then he'll be out there in one more year.
I can't,
But
I can't agree more.
yeah, it was Billy. Then Billy was just the Billy. It was like I'm talking about our group in like practice. It was fun. It was me, you, Kovas,
Yep.
Micah, um,
Schaller.
Schaller, Cope. We'd come out there. It's just a good group of guys. Like it was fun. We'd always go out there and catch fly balls and like just chop it up. And then you get the wall balls in left field. That was always fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was just that always helped that made every day better. It was like, all right, we got mass fungo today. It's like some guys dreaded it, but I was always like, this is gonna be fun because it's get to hang out with the guys out there.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah.
for sure, for sure. So, kind of my last question for you regarding Ken before we kind of transition into, where you're at now. So, I want the viewers to hear it from another guy who lived it, breathed it, probably still goes by it. The 1-2 ball, Zeke Pinkham, right?
The 1-2 ball, yeah.
I want
Yep.
you to talk about how much that kind of just approach and mentality, you know, kind of helped you out at your last year in Kent because I like honestly I live and die by it. I think it is such a
Yeah.
great approach. So kind of just I want the viewers to hear it from somebody that, got to live it too.
Okay, yeah. The 1-2 ball basically I mean, I'm sure you talked about it, but for the
Oh
viewers
yeah.
is like,
Oh yeah.
you know, you're basically looking for something out over the plate and you're eliminating anything inside. Just because as a hitter, obviously you're trying to get your arms extended, you're trying to drive a ball middle, left center, right center. I mean, that's what you're trying to do as a hitter, trying to live in the middle of the field. You're trying to get your arms extended. I make the point of like, if someone's throwing you BP and they're throwing you in everything inside, are you gonna have a good round? Probably not. You're probably gonna be rolling over, flaring balls, just trying to do too much. So Why would you not look for that in the game, out over the plate in the game if you can barely hit it in BP?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, like being able to look out over the plate and eliminate that stuff in. For me, like if I'm looking out over. I'm able to see, obviously, I'm able to see the fastball. And like anything, if you're looking out over a fastball in the middle it still looks good. Like you're gonna go. And maybe something that leaks in, you're still gonna go because your eyes are out, it's funny how it works. It just works that way.
Yep.
And Billy, we always talked about this. Like if you're looking out over the plate for something hard, a fastball, and you're looking to drive it in the opposite gap, like we always talked about at Kent, you're able to see anything spinning or like change it up just because your eyes are out there. And like if I'm looking for something out there, I'm looking to drive at the middle of the field or left center for me, and I'm looking to stay on that ball. I have the good posture. Like an off-speed pitch is kind of just like it's that much more of a timing. It's not like you're going, stepping, waiting. It's like it's all happens at once. So if I'm looking out over, oh, it's a changeup up. I just keep going, and then that thing's sent to right center, right field. It's gone.
Absolutely.
But I think the biggest thing for that is just vision. Like it's just a vision thing, and it's like. If I'm looking for a fastball out over the plate, looking for a 1-2 ball, looking for something in that white part of the plate, I'm able to adjust off speed and like I'm definitely going to hammer a fastball.
Mhm.
So I think that's the biggest thing. It just maximizes the damage for us, and we did a lot of damage
Yeah,
with
we
that approach.
I will definitely I'll put our our team stats, up on the screen. You guys can see it. I mean, our offense was unbelievable,
Stupid.
unbelievable for a mid-major team out of Ohio in the MAC conference. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was just stupid.
Yeah, yeah. So, now, okay, so we win the MAC regular season, 17th in program history. Dope. We go out to the tournament, we get upset, right? Season didn't end, the way that we wanted to. Uh,
Yeah.
you got hammered with awesome accolades, right? So obviously, congrats to you. I've told you that countless
Thanks,
times.
bro.
Yeah. So you now there's chats that there's potential, like, hey, you're gonna get drafted, right?
Mhm.
So then you get invited to the draft combine.
Yeah,
Talk
that's pretty cool.
about that experience.
Yeah, what was that like?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, obviously, you know, I wasn't living under a rock. I realized, like, toward the end of the year, I was like, I definitely got a shot to get popped, to get drafted. But, season ends, I was like, okay, like, probably gonna go to I'm gonna go to a couple workouts. I got invited to a couple workouts, and then I'm probably just gonna chill and then get wait for the draft. But turns out I get invited to the combine. I'm like, okay, like, obviously, I have to go to this. This is gonna be awesome. Like,
Well,
this,
we got a couple guys here you guys may not know. Like, this is Jake Casey. That's Sean Casey's son.
Oh, that's Sean.
And this is some kid named Ramirez. That's like
I think I know
somebody's
that
son.
kid. I think I know that kid.
You know that kid?
Ramirez? I think I know.
You know that one?
Before. I never heard that. I never heard that.
Okay.
He looked like somebody though.
He looked like Manny a little bit.
Let's see what you got. God, he built just like you.
All right, so let's see Sean Casey's son. He's bigger than Sean.
like, this is a really cool thing for me, but like, I was more excited because for Kent, it was like, it's cool to see someone from Kent State get invited to that draft combine because like everyone there is probably SEC or a top mid-major guy who are usually big names, or like a high school kid who's going to every SEC, every high school kid is going to SEC school. But that was cool. So the combine was really cool, man. So like I got there, I don't remember the date, but I got there. You get all your gear. It's pretty cool. You get like interviewed, whatever. On social, whatever. It's all cool. Then, but the most to explain what the combine kind of is just like it's kind of just a big showcase. Like we've all been to a showcase. It's like take ground balls, you take BP, you meet guys. It's all kind of cool, but it was just at like a different level,
Yep.
obviously. I'd say that's kind of what it was. But like overall, to be invited to that was a blessing. And I think the coolest part of it was representing Kent. And I think like if you look at me and say, Jay Casey was able to go to the combine, he went to Kent State, like who's going to be the next guy at Kent State to do that? Because it's very much possible because, I looked at the guys at the combine and I was like, I'm just as good as these guys. And it's just baseball at the end of the day. And if you can hit the ball hard, you can make plays, you can hit the ball consistently, whatever, like doesn't matter where you went to school. And that's kind of what I want guys to know is like just because you're at Kent State, just because you're at somewhere else, you can get invited to the combine, and then you can go to the combine and look yourself in the mirror and be like, I'm just as good as these guys.
Sure.
So that was kind of the biggest thing.
For sure. That's awesome.
Sweet.
That's awesome. So then, all right, so now we're even going further into the process. So you complete the draft combine, you do your workouts. Now the most stressful part rolls around. Draft day.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that
I'm
was it.
very appreciative that you kept me in the loop throughout that whole process. That was awesome. I felt like I was
Mhm.
living through you and I felt like I was there, which was
Yeah,
incredible. So time rolls around that you get selected. Talk about those emotions, talk about just everything, man, because you were there with your family. Obviously Haley was there. Just
Mhm.
everything. The people that were there for you along your journey were in that room when your name was called. So kind of just talk about just just talk about that moment, man, because
Yeah,
that's what these kids live for.
yeah, bro. It was crazy. Like even like the 2 weeks leading up to it, like as soon as the combine was over, I was like, the only thing that's next for me is the draft, and I was like, that's kind of stressful. So how do I even prepare for the draft? What do I do? I just kind of hit every day. Like I was running a little bit and just doing baseball stuff, getting ready for the draft, and then obviously here come the draft comes, and I'm like, day one, I remember we all watched day one on my couch. I was like, okay, like this is fun, this and that. Funny story, actually. Day one, I I always wear like a cutoff shirt at night, just comfortable. I wore my Blue Jays cutoff,
No
just
shit.
like randomly just wore it on my couch watching round one, round two. Funny story.
About it.
I had no idea. I wasn't even talking to him. But yeah, so that next day rolls around. I have my grandparents, my mom, dad, my sisters, Haley. That's it. I was like, just for my immediate family here for today. And it started at noon, I think. Whatever. It started early and it ended at like 5 or 6 o'clock. I was getting chatter throughout the day, like, do you want this amount of money? Do you want, where do you want to go? Like to my agent. And I was like, honestly, I don't even know. Like, I don't know what they're gonna give me. I don't know what round it's gonna be. But, ended up like there was a break in between the 10th round and the 11th round, like an hour break. I ended up getting a call from the Blue Jays saying like, "Hey, we're gonna take you to the 15th round." Like, bada bing, bada boom, done. We're gonna take you 15th round, and I was like, "Okay, like that's good. That's it. I want to do that." And then obviously a couple other teams were there, but it's like I kind of had a choice. I mean, like contrary to like people wouldn't believe this, but like I kind of had a choice a little bit of like where I could have gone, if that makes sense, because it was such a late round.
Yeah,
But
I
I
don't think
was
not to cut you off, but I don't think people understand like really how the MLB draft works. Like it's not like the NBA draft, the NFL
right.
draft. There's 20 rounds in the MLB draft, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
With 30 teams and how many guys get selected. Like there is that kind of, selection process and like you're going to talk
yeah.
in a 15th rounder and all that how you had that selection process. So it's not like the NFL draft or the NBA draft where
Mm.
you get picked, like that's where you go. Like you can say yes and you can say no. So not to cut you off, but continue.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. Like it's not obviously you want to get drafted, but like these teams will ask you they'll try to steal you in a round, they'll try to save money, and it's like you got to know your worth, you got to know whatever. So but yeah, I end up saying like, I'm gonna go to the Blue Jays. Like their facilities are state of the art. Everything about yeah, obviously they're in the ALCS right now, and they have a good farm system. So like that's a really good combination of the team you want to be playing for. So I was like, all right, they're a great organization. I got picked by the Blue Jays, and that was probably the coolest moment of my life. I think at this point, just getting that phone call, like seeing my name on the screen, like I was like, okay, like they obviously told me, but like I have to see my name up there. I want to see it. So I ended up like we're watching it, saw my name up there, and it was like that was just awesome, and it was like a lot of emotions, a lot of awesome emotions, giving everyone hugs, just. That was awesome. Hugging my dad was probably the best thing, the coolest moment of my life was just giving my dad a hug after that, and just giving him a long hug, telling him I love him after all those years of, hitting with him, trying to find it, trying to, figure it out all the time. And that was awesome. And then we ended up having like a little draft party, having our friends and family over. And then I was, flown out the next day, I think, or the day 2 days later, I was flown out and then I was gone.
Yeah, boom.
But boom, right into it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you talk about, that moment with your dad and all that. So for the viewers that might not know who your dad is, and I know a lot of, I know a lot of guys in your situation, kind of like it's like, hey, like this is my story and all that, but I know how much your dad means to you, and I know, the relationship that you have with your dad. So kind of just, talk about, kind of just talk about like what that really, really, really like truly meant to you, because like I said, I know your dad means the world to you. So
Yeah.
you know, talk about that.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I mean, obviously that moment was like just a big, summary of like all the work you put in for my whole life. Like, I think since my sophomore year of high school, I remember telling my dad, I was like, Dad, I want to do it. I want to play Division One baseball.
Yep.
And then it was like, now I want to get, whatever. But like from that moment on, I was like, all the work I put on my dad, we hit every night. We hit 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. It was just like, just constant work, a lot of failure, a lot of trying new things out my swing because obviously like it's my dad's first time being a hitting coach or being a dad, being a coach. So it was like he was his first time trying it out, his working his ass off, helping me out, trying to find new things, trying to do this, trying to do that, just constant talking in the kitchen and it was just all this stuff. Just years of just built on like obsession and like love for the game and like love for each other.
Yep.
And like he's my best friend. You know, obviously like my dad is my dad, but like he's my best friend. Like I we do everything together. You know, we hang out, watch football, we get dinner, we play golf. But but yeah, I mean obviously he played all those years in the game. And obviously he's my dad. Sometimes like when your dad's coaching you and stuff, you're kind of like, like, I got this. But you know how it is.
Yeah, no, that's
And
the truth.
and as I got older, I think I realized, especially now, like especially when I was like older in college, I was like, maybe this guy's got some good stuff to say, because I know it sounds crazy to say it, but like it's always like this is my dad, like I want to be coached by other people.
Mhm.
And I don't want to just how it was. And I started to like really, really respect his opinion. And we started to really talk more about like the mental side of the game and like not a ton of physical stuff, just going out there and being me, being athletic, and just the mental side of the game, the process. Because if you ask him how he played 12 years in the big leagues and batted 300 career, he would say everything is attributed to the mental side of the game. Everything. He thinks is like, how many guys in the world can do it for 162 every day, stacking on the bats? Because like he always says like, if you waste one at bat a week, or you waste a couple bats a week, that's 60, 80 at bats a year. And it's like, that's over 60, over 80. So like you can't waste nothing. So it's like we always talk about that. And I don't know, I just think in general, like his impact on me, having that moment with him when I got drafted was just probably the best moment of my life just because like everything that went into it, everything that he's, built up for him when I'm sure when he had me as his son, he's like, oh, how cool would it be if my son, played pro ball? I'm sure like, but like for him and for me, I think that was just the coolest moment ever.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if
Oh,
I ever
that's
I don't know if I ever told you this story. So, and honestly, this is kudos to you, just the type of person you are and the character that you have is we were teammates for probably it was the whole entire fall and I didn't know that Sean was your dad.
Yeah,
Can't lie to you.
that's
And
fun.
it was like I don't know where I was driving from. I don't know what I was doing, but I was like, yo, Sean Casey, Jake Casey. And I went on the old Google.
There
I
it
went on the
is.
old Google and like I felt like a dick because I was like, yo, like I label this guy as like my best friend. I don't even know who his dad is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then obviously I got to meet your dad, through the Breakthrough Pro and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, your dad is just unbelievable. He's an unbelievable human being.
Yeah.
It's such a perk that you have, to be able to kind of just live through his experience, but also, create your own story now.
Hmm.
So
Right.
obviously in the farm system for the Toronto Blue Jays, like you said, they beat the Yankees last night, to go to the ALCS. Sorry, brother.
Hey, it happens.
Um,
The crazy
Happens.
Don Mattingly is one of their their bench coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, for the viewers that don't know, his dad was the hitting coach
Correct.
the other
Yeah.
the other year. So that was
Correct.
Yeah.
definitely some tension in the
A
house.
little bit of tension.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Do you got anything?
Dude, I mean, I think it's crazy that how full circle ends up coming. You
It
know
is,
what I
yeah, it
mean?
is
But
crazy.
I just think, I mean, going back to your dad, like, what was it like being a kid? As he's going through clubhouses, and
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
did you did you look up to like other? Obviously, you look up to your dad. I mean, I think we both do.
Yeah.
From our side. Like clubhouse guy outside of Mr. Sean Casey. That you kind of you viewed a little bit differently than. I mean, I guess I look at a lot of guys growing up where I was like, all right, well, Albert Pujols, I want to be like Albert Pujols, like who was
Yeah.
your guy growing up that you wanted to kind of like be?
Yeah. Well, growing up, well, my dad retired when I was 5, and like I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember much when I was like in the clubhouse. but he would always take us to spring training stuff throughout the years, and that's kind of where I met the big league guys, and I remember actually meeting them. Besides when I was like little,
Mm.
but and that was all really cool, and that was all awesome just to be around the game and be around those big league guys, stuff like that, and see them in person. You know how like you see them on TV, but you see them in person, it's like wow, you know. But my favorite player growing up was for some reason it was Mike Trout. Always, Mike Trout was my favorite player.
Bad choice.
I loved Mike Trout. I thought he was awesome. That's the way he played the game. I don't know why I just liked him. I thought he was great. Like was just fun to watch, and he was the best player in the game for that time period, you know. And like he was basically Aaron Judge is now for the young kids that don't know how good Mike Trout was, how good Mike Trout was. He is Aaron Judge right now, but like 8 or 9 years ago, or
Which is
7 8 years
crazy.
ago.
Like you said, like it's only 8 years ago. Like it's unbelievable. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Time's going. I feel old. I feel old.
seriously.
Yeah,
How about it?
talk to me.
That's awesome, dude.
So I mean, obviously you play with Rick and Reese. I mean, both of you guys did.
Yeah.
Dude pummels baseballs. I mean, he hit a big one. I mean, I just think it's like kudos to the environment and the culture that you guys had at Kent State.
Yeah.
It's something that I think a lot of kids should look up to. And I would just say, like really, what would be your advice to those kids in their locker room that would say, "Hey, I want to be a leader, but I just don't know how to." It's because not everyone is outspoken. There some
Mm.
people might be quiet leaders. Like, what would your advice be to, in your shoes, to those guys that want to become leaders and also be able to lead by example, like you
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, good question. I think, if you want to be you want to be a leader, I think it takes patience. Obviously, you can't just get right into it and be a leader. I think you got to gain these guys respect. You got to gain respect, and that's gained through, experience, hard work, being nice to guys, really showing them you give a shit throughout the years. And, I think, the leaders are always juniors and seniors for a reason because those guys have experience. And the guys younger than them know that they've been through it and they have wisdom. Is wisdom's when guys have experience and guys have been through things and they have that knowledge that these freshmen and sophomores don't even understand because they haven't done it yet. So I think like if you want to be a leader, you got to have that patience. You got to have that drive to like really go out of your way to be nice to guys and treat guys right so that when you are the big dog, then that's like, oh, like he's a great guy. Like I trust this guy. Not only is he a good player, yeah, but he's a great guy and like he's worked really hard and he wants to win and he wants me to win. I know that. I could feel that when he talks to me. And I think just the biggest thing is like just being nice to people and then just realizing that it doesn't just happen overnight. You gotta go through shit. You gotta go through hard stuff and you gotta go through stuff with your guys, you know? You gotta you gotta love it. You gotta love the process, you gotta love the work, you gotta love it. So I think that's the biggest thing is just experience and patience and just be nice to people.
That's
uh,
awesome.
that's good because
Yeah.
when you're trying to build a program or you're trying to build anything in general, you just always want to have someone that is obviously first and foremost with the right mindset. And yeah, it is a winning culture, and that's kind of what you guys created there because I had the privilege of coaching, a lot of guys like this fella right here. He's kind of the same way, so it's
Hmm.
nice.
Yeah.
The way you put it, it's, be nice to everyone. It's
Yep.
great, great motto to live by.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So kind of just, as we kind of, wrap this up. So like what's kind of next for you? Are you excited for your first spring training? You
Yeah, that's basically what's next.
I mean, hopefully the boys, pull out a World Series. So, the vibes are immaculate down there
Yeah,
in Florida.
vibes are immaculate. You
Do
know,
you get has it really like hit you that you get to go to spring training with like Vlad Guerrero and,
yeah, that's definitely cool. That'll be awesome. Like I remember Varsho was in there like 2 months ago rehabbing, just hanging out in the facility with us. And I was like, "What's up, bro?" It's just kind of how it is. It's like normal stuff. Seeing those guys around the facility it's cool, but it's like you got stuff to do. Like you're not really thinking about like, oh my God. But that's gonna be awesome. Just seeing how they work. Hopefully learning from those guys. Maybe picking their brain a little bit. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think what's next for me is just getting bigger, stronger, faster in this off season. Just working hard, like building a training regimen for myself. Like you know, just refining my swing, taking it easy on my body, but like at the same time getting after it, recovering, and basically just getting ready for spring training. That's kind of the biggest thing. It's just getting ready for spring training, and you kind of realize as you play pro ball, like the only thing that really matters, obviously everything else matters. The only thing that really matters is being in that box and like facing that pitcher. You know what I mean? Like you like that's what I want to do. I'm excited for that to get back to that and just start competing again. Um, I'm taking this off season serious just to get my body ready for 100 plus games. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
You're different, Jay Casey.
Dude, I mean, it's spot on.
Yeah,
It's legit.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Whoever's up next has big shoes to fill.
Yeah, for sure. What we'll do is how we'll end the call. I want to know your favorite moment at Kent State. It can be personal, it can be team oriented, however. So your favorite moment at Kent State, and then
Okay.
favorite moment in pro ball.
Okay. Favorite moment at Kent, probably. Okay, I'll go personal and then I'll go like team. Okay, personal was
I love
probably
it. Love it.
oh, personal was probably when I hit that homer against Toledo. My dad was on the call. That was pretty cool.
Now it's time for great moments in fatherhood.
Here is Jake Casey, man on 2 out. Casey swinging a high drive, right field, way out of here. How do you like that, Sean?
Let's go. Oh my God, that's incredible. Wow.
With his father on the broadcast, Casey goes deep. A 2-run blast. Kent State leads 4-2.
What a treat, brother, to be up here seeing you call it. I told you, that's way more pop than I had. I don't think I hit a ball like that in college, I promise you that. So that was special.
And that was great moments in fatherhood.
First of all, I talk a lot of smack about like Kenyon, maybe Derek Lowe. He's 6'3", it might be his son. That looks nothing like Sean Casey's swing. And when I tell you, it looks more athletic, he's more powerful, he's bigger, he's stronger, the legs look amazing, the uniform fits just top notch. He had a little jazz follow through. I've never hit a home run that balanced, Jake. Phenomenal scene. And Case he hit 412 and he hit like 9 home runs a year, but he hit it for a high average. Uniform was a little frumpy. That swing plays. Kent State, you're welcome for having Jake Casey. And Sean, I'm gonna need you to get a little bit more excited. Like I need you to take off the headset, run down there and hug Jake, lift him up. That's about as cool as you're gonna get, big dog.
Yeah, no doubt. I need a little bit more. I don't know if it's all the ice baths he does, the cold plunge in the morning with the meditation and the book reading, and he's way more calm now. Like, he had more excitement for me when I got a walk off of Pete Harnish and went to first base, and Case was like, attaboy, Dip, that's a great at-bat, man. Like, this is your son hitting it. Don't be afraid to show those emotions. I know he's trying to play cool dad, but what a special moment.
I don't think so. I think he was speechless. I think he was speechless. I don't think that it was a lack of enthusiasm.
Yeah, it was
Dude,
really
he looked
cool.
like he could have been a
special
train
moment.
staff too for Kent State today with the same colors, like yellow and Kent State. I didn't realize how cool their colors were.
Yeah, that was nasty.
And that was probably the first ball I ever hit in my life. So that was also cool.
I will put that on this for sure. I will put that on
For sure. That was fun. And then, I think team was winning the MAC. This last year was just like, that was awesome. Just all that ups and downs with the guys, and you finally win. You're like, just like breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Knowing you're guaranteed a ring, which is nice. So that was awesome.
See,
and then
Dunk smile like that.
Yeah, that was honestly the coolest thing was seeing the coaches, like, because you know how much work those guys put in. And it's like, these guys deserve more than us, honestly.
Right.
Like, I mean, obviously we deserve it, but it's like we just go out there and play and have fun, and we're trying to win. But like these guys are their actual job, and their job's in the line every day, So that was cool to see that. But just everyone was really happy, and then I think my favorite part of Pro Bowl is, I mean, probably my 2-homer game against the Tigers. Kind of like proved myself that like, wow, like holy shit, I can do it in Pro Ball too.
Yep.
Not just Kent. I think that was fun. Just having that like eye-opening game for me. I knew it was in there, but like it's like, all right, I'm tired of hitting singles. Not tired of hitting singles. I'm like, I know I can do damage. I remember telling myself that. I was like, and then I finally did some damage, and I was like, that was awesome. Just kind of like a cool moment for
Awesome.
that game.
Awesome, dude.
I
Well,
like that.
we're super appreciative for you hopping on a call.
Yeah, thank you.
Dude.
Thanks for having me, guys. That was awesome.
Follow along
Yeah.
with, Jake's career. Give him a follow on social media. And, dude, I can't say it enough, dude. I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Bill. Love you, bro. And Connor, nice meeting you, man.
And nice to meet you, man. Best of luck to you. And we'll be following. I mean, we're gonna
Yeah.
have every game is gonna be on the TV here. So
Yeah, that's great.
For sure.
So,
Appreciate
all
it.
right, boys.
All right,
All right, appreciate you, boys.